Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're looking at, the future of equipment financing in North America.
The future?
Yeah, the future. So, imagine a world where getting the money for that new, piece of equipment, it's as easy as, ordering dinner, online.
Oh, wow.
That's where we're headed, at least according to this report we've got here called The Future of Equipment Financing. Key Tech Trends Shaping the North American Market.
Okay.
From the Rate Card, published March 6, 2025. And from AI to blockchain, it's going to be, it's a wild ride. So buckle up, everybody, and let's dive in.
Yeah, I think you're right to say wild ride because it's not just little tweaks here and there. This report is talking like a total digital revolution, like the whole industry is transforming.
Okay, so let's unpack this revolution. First up, AI. I feel like everyone's talking about AI, but how is it actually being used in equipment financing right now?
I mean, it's already a huge player. AI is being used for credit decisions, and assessing risk. Even customer service stuff, making everything so much faster and just, more efficient. Imagine an AI that looks at way more than just your credit score. It could check your social media, even industry trends, just to figure out your business's potential.
Wow.
That's the level of insight we're talking about. But here's the thing. It all relies on having good data. If the data is bad, AI can actually make existing biases, even worse.
So it's kind of like having this super-powered assistant, right? Incredibly helpful, but if it's not, trained properly, it can accidentally make things worse.
Exactly.
Speaking of things going wrong, let's talk about cybersecurity. With everything moving online, how do you protect all this digital stuff? It's crucial, right? The report mentions a pretty big increase in cyberattacks, and they're specifically targeting financial institutions. So multi-factor authentication, regular security audits, and employee training. Those all sound, comprehensive, but are they really enough to stay ahead of, these hackers? They're getting more and more sophisticated. What vulnerabilities should businesses be aware of?
That's the big question. Businesses need to be proactive, for sure.
Right.
These measures, they're really essential. Multi-factor authentication, definitely. The audits, employee training. Companies have got to treat cybersecurity as part of their core business strategy. It's not just for the IT department to figure out,
Yeah, and then as all this tech evolves, so did the regulations, data protection laws, open banking initiatives, and AI regulations. It's a lot to keep up with.
It really is.
Think about Canada's open banking initiative. That's a pretty big change to, how we share data, who has control of it, all that.
Absolutely. And with open banking, you can share your financial data securely with other companies. So this means more choices and maybe even better rates on equipment financing for you.
So it's a whole new world of possibilities, basically. Speaking of new things, what about all those clunky legacy systems that are holding so many businesses back? This report really pushes for, modern cloud-based platforms and API-driven integration.
Right.
While the cloud offers some clear advantages, are there downsides businesses need to consider?
You're right to be cautious. There are a few. Like vendor lock-in and, greater reliance on internet connectivity. Those are just a couple that come to mind.
Okay.
But overall, cloud platforms do give you scalability, security, speed. And those are, they're essential these days, right, in today's business environment.
It's like trading in your old flip phone for a sleek new smartphone. So much better. And this actually connects to the next big trend, digitalization and automation.
Yeah, and that's where you're going to see the real impact, on your workflows, customer experiences, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Things like e-signatures, robotic process automation, and self-service portals, all that. Streamlining everything, making life easier for everyone.
That's fascinating. So how would embedded finance actually work? In the real world? Can you give me an example?
Okay, imagine you're on, an equipment marketplace website. You're ready to buy. With embedded finance, you could get the financing right there on that platform. You wouldn't have to go to a separate bank or a lender or anything.
So instead of going to a bank or a lender, you could just get financing, right there on the spot.
Exactly.
Talk about convenience. So does this mean that embedded finance could really shake things up in the market, encourage more innovation?
It has the potential, yeah. Traditional players are going to need to adapt. They'll have to.
Next up, blockchain. I hear this term everywhere, but I'm still not quite sure what it actually means, for businesses, beyond cryptocurrency and all that.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in all the hype, for sure. But essentially, blockchain gives you a really secure and transparent way to track assets, execute contracts, and prevent fraud.
Hmm.
Imagine every transaction is recorded on a shared database, but it can't be tampered with, and it's distributed across like multiple computers.
Okay.
That's blockchain. You don't need a central authority. You get a really clear and trustworthy record of every single transaction.
So blockchain could completely change how we track and manage equipment, right?
Yeah.
Throughout its entire life cycle.
Absolutely. And it can streamline those contracts.
Yeah.
Less need for those intermediaries and all the paperwork they bring. It's about building trust and efficiency, too.
And lastly, let's talk about, well, sustainability.
This is big. It's shaping not just equipment financing, but the entire global economy. ESG, environmental, social, and governance, these are those non-financial factors that investors are looking at more and more
Right.
when they're evaluating, a company. They're not just a nice bonus anymore. They're essential.
So will sustainability actually become a requirement to secure financing in the future?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's still early, but it's gaining a lot of traction.
Okay.
Companies that make sustainability a priority and use green financing, they're probably going to have a real advantage going forward, I mean.
It's amazing to see how all these technologies, AI, blockchain, cloud computing, all of them, they're coming together and they're like shaping the entire future of equipment financing. It's a lot to process.
It is a lot.
Yeah, a lot to process.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we're here for, right? On this deep dive, like helping you make sense of it all and spotting those opportunities, the hidden gems.
Absolutely.
So let's zoom out for a sec. What does all this mean for, the average business owner, the person who needs funding for like a piece of equipment? Will they even recognize this industry in a few years?
That's a good question. I think the biggest changes are going to be in the speed and the transparency and just accessibility.
Okay.
The financing process will be way faster because of all the, the automation and digitalization. Like approvals could happen in hours, even minutes.
Wow.
Not days or weeks.
That's huge, especially for those businesses that need to move quickly. No more waiting around for like paperwork and all that.
Yeah. And with things like blockchain ensuring that transparency and security, borrowers are going to have more confidence, in the process.
Right.
You can track each step from the application to like the actual funding, knowing your information is protected.
So what about accessibility? Will all these advancements make equipment financing available to like more businesses?
I mean, that's the goal. Embedded finance will make those financing options much more integrated into the platforms you're already using.
Yeah.
So that makes them more accessible. Even to those, even the smallest businesses can benefit.
So it's like democratizing access to capital, right?
It is. And that could really fuel innovation and entrepreneurship, especially in markets that haven't had that like easy access before.
So it sounds like a win-win, right? For lenders and borrowers, both.
It really does.
But what about the people who actually work in the industry? Will all this automation lead to job losses?
That's a valid concern for sure, but I don't think so. Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think tech will mostly change the jobs that exist, not get rid of them entirely.
Okay.
Like, yeah, the routine tasks will get automated.
Right.
But there will always be a need for those skilled professionals who can, analyze the data and manage relationships, provide strategic guidance. These new technologies are powerful tools.
Yeah.
But they still need, humans to guide them.
So it's more about like upskilling.
Exactly.
Learning those new skills and adapting.
Exactly. The industry is going to need people who are like comfortable with tech, who understand the data, who can think critically about what it all means.
This move towards more transparency through blockchain, it also feeds into this next major trend, embedded finance.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that for a second. I'm curious about like the potential downsides, Does embedding financial services into other platforms create like any new risks or any challenges?
You're right to be thinking about that.
Yeah.
One concern is definitely data privacy,
Right.
When you've got financial services embedded in other platforms, businesses need to be really careful about protecting that data.
Right.
And being transparent about how it's being used.
Yeah.
And another concern is it could just get too complex.
Right.
Integrating these services, it could be tricky. And you got to make sure that process is seamless.
Yeah.
And user-friendly. I mean, if it's too complicated, no one's going to want to use it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a delicate balance, isn't it, between innovating and ensuring like a good experience for the user?
It really is, yeah.
Okay.
Finding that sweet spot where technology makes things better for the customer,
Right.
without introducing a bunch of new risks or headaches.
So it sounds like the equipment financing industry is like on the verge of this whole new era.
It is.
One that's like driven by innovation and focused on the customer's experience.
Absolutely. And as with any big change, there are going to be challenges.
Right.
There's going to be some uncertainty, but the companies that really embrace this whole digital revolution,
right,
and who focus on, sustainability, they're the ones that are going to be shaping the future of this industry.
So for our listeners out there, what are some like key takeaways, things they should be thinking about?
Right.
What can they do to prepare, for this future?
Well, first of all, never stop learning.
Okay.
The world of tech is constantly changing. So you have to stay up to date on the latest trends, understand how they affect your business,
Yeah.
Read articles like the one we were discussing today.
Right.
Go to industry conferences or just be curious and explore, Continuous learning it's essential.
Yeah. Yeah.
What stands out to you from what we've talked about so far?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is just the speed at which everything is changing.
Yeah.
Like the businesses that can adapt quickly and embrace new technologies, those are the ones that are going to have a real advantage.
I agree. It's not just about adopting tech for the sake of it.
Right.
But it's about understanding how that tech can solve your problems,
Yeah.
how it can make your customers happier,
Yeah.
and ultimately make your business more efficient.
So knowledge is power, right? Especially in a world that's changing this rapidly.
Absolutely.
What else should our listeners be thinking about?
Well, don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
That's the great thing about tech.
Yeah.
It lets you try new things, and you can do it quickly.
Right.
Create a culture of innovation in your company. Be open to trying new things.
Yeah.
Don't just react to the changes. Try to anticipate them.
So be proactive.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Think ahead.
And lastly, remember that technology is just a tool, really.
Yeah.
It's up to us as humans to use it responsibly and ethically.
Right.
We need to make sure these advancements benefit everyone, not just a select few.
Yeah.
We need to use this tech to create a better future.
So what role will you play
Yeah.
in shaping this rapidly evolving landscape?
Yeah.
Will you be a driver of innovation?
Yeah.
A champion for sustainability?
Yeah.
A voice for ethical and responsible technology adoption?
It's a really exciting time
Yeah.
to be involved in this world in equipment financing.
Yeah.
There's so much potential for those who are willing to embrace this change, who are willing to challenge the status quo, and really think big,
Think big. I like that. Think big.
Think big.
It really is an exciting time to be in this industry.
It is.
And that's what we are all about here on this deep dive. We're not just, giving you the facts,
Right.
but helping you connect the dots, see the bigger picture.
It's about giving you the power to, to actually take action.
Yeah.
Make smart decisions and to be part of the change.
If you want to explore these topics in more depth, we highly recommend checking out, the full article from the rate card.
Yeah. Well,
We have only just scratched the surface here.
just a taste.
Yeah, just a little taste.
Yeah.
There's a lot more information and insights waiting for you.
And remember, the future of equipment financing, it isn't some far off idea.
Right.
It's being shaped right now
Yeah.
by the choices that individuals and businesses and policymakers are making every single day.
So as you go about your day, consider this.
Yeah.
What role will you play in shaping this rapidly changing world?
Yeah. Will you be a driver of innovation?
A champion for sustainability?
A voice for ethical and responsible technology adoption?
As you think about your own business, consider this. How can you use the power of embedded finance to gain a competitive advantage?
Yeah.
How can you create a more seamless experience for your customers?
Yeah, the possibilities they really are endless.
That's what makes this such an exciting time to be a part of, the world of equipment financing.
It is.
It's a field full of opportunities for those who are willing to embrace change, to challenge the status quo, and to think big.
To think big.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the future of equipment financing.
Yeah, thank you.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
Keep diving.
Keep asking questions.
Yes.
And keep exploring the world with that insatiable curiosity that makes you such a fantastic listener.
We'll see you next time.